What I'm about to show you is going to change everything you thought you knew about XRP's position in the financial system. A $12 trillion institution just made a crypto announcement that has Wall Street buzzing. Ripple is now inside the same infrastructure that clears US Treasuries, and Mastercard is openly discussing direct settlement in RLUSD. The institutional floodgates aren't just opening anymore. They're being blown off their hinges. You need to see this. Let's start with the news that literally broke the internet in traditional finance circles. Charles Schwab, managing over $12 trillion in client assets, has just announced Schwab Crypto. This isn't some vague roadmap or future consideration. They're providing direct access to Bitcoin and Ethereum trading with phased rollout to retail clients in the coming weeks. Now I know what you're thinking. Bitcoin and Ethereum? Where's XRP in this? But here's what the mainstream media won't tell. When an institution of this magnitude enters the crypto space, they don't stop at 2 assets. This is the blueprint being established. The compliance frameworks, the custody solutions, the trading infrastructure. Once Schwab proves this model works, with their millions of retail clients, expanding to other regulated digital assets becomes a natural progression. And what's the one crypto asset that has definitive regulatory clarity in the United States right now? That's right, XRP. Schwab didn't build this infrastructure to limit themselves. They built it to dominate. And the assets with the clearest regulatory pathways will be first in line for expansion. Now this is where things get absolutely insane, and I need you to pay close attention because what I'm about to break down connects dots that most people aren't even aware exist. The DTCC and CME group just received approval from both the CFTC and SEC to expand US Treasury cross-margining. This unlocks more capital efficiency across the entire system. But here's where it gets interesting for XRP holders. CME Group already offers regulated XRP futures, giving institutions direct compliant exposure to XRP price action. Then add this. Ripple acquired Hidden Road, which now operates as Ripple Prime. And that entity has already appeared inside DTCC infrastructure through NSCC and FICC participant access. Do you understand what this means? The XRP ledger already hosts tokenized US Treasuries like Ondo's OUSG. Those products can mint and redeem 24/7 using RLUSD. Healthier treasury plumbing makes tokenized treasury rails easier to scale behind the scenes. So let me connect all the dots for you. DTCC clearing infrastructure, plus CME's regulated XRP market, plus Ripple Prime inside DTCC linked rails, plus tokenized treasuries already live on the XRP ledger, all moving around the same institutional upgrade cycle. Ripple isn't trying to get into the system anymore. They're already inside. And if you thought that was big, wait until you hear what Mastercard is doing. Odelia Torteman from XRPL Commons and Christian Rao from Mastercard have been discussing something massive. They're talking about bringing direct settlement in RLUSD to the Mastercard network. Let that sink in for a moment. Mastercard processing billions of transactions every single day. Discussing integration with Ripple's stablecoin for direct settlement. The bridge between traditional finance and Web3 just got a whole lot stronger. This isn't speculation. This isn't hopium. These are real conversations happening at the highest levels of global finance. When Mastercard, one of the most recognized financial brands on the planet, is openly engaging with XRP ledger infrastructure, you know something fundamental has shifted. The institutions aren't asking if they should integrate with blockchain anymore. They're asking how fast they can do it. And they're choosing XRPL as their foundation. The global expansion
So from one side, you enable your merchants
relentless
to use
pace.
stablecoin
Ripple
as a
has
means
now
of payments.
partnered with Bank
From the others, you
Alpha
also enable
to
direct
utilize
settlements
Ripple
on different
payments
types of
for cross-border
stablecoins, like the
transactions between
RLUSD, for
Pakistan and
example.
UAE
You want to maybe
corridors.
share a bit more about
Now
that
here's the
project?
part that should make every
That's
XRP
right.
holder
And
sit
so,
up straight.
and I know there's different
Bank
schools of
Alpha
thought.
is a
Some
member
people
of
say
SWIFT's
the
new
future will
50-member
be
consortium for its new
wallet-to-wallet
payment
direct connections,
scheme. Did
which
you
for
catch
sure
that?
there's a lot
SWIFT and Ripple
of
are now
space for
sharing
that.
institutional
We, however,
partners.
believe
The
that
same
the
banks
power of the
working with
network
SWIFT's new
that we
infrastructure
bring
are
in terms of 150
simultaneously
million acceptance
implementing Ripple
location,
payments.
3.8
overlapping
billion
ties
cards,
aren't coincidental.
plugging
They're
in
strategic.
stable coins
The narrative that
into
Ripple
this
and Swift are
system
competitors
is the
dead.
best of both
What we're
worlds in that
witnessing
sense.
is
So
a
think
convergence
about
of
stable
traditional
coins
and
as
blockchain-based
just
payment
another
infrastructure.
settlement currency
And XRP
within
is
our
positioned
network
right at the
that
intersection.
again
Pakistan
brings
to
certain
UAE might seem
benefits
like
that
just
fiat
one
currencies do not
corridor,
allow
but this is how
today.
global
The
financial
XRP
infrastructure gets
example
built.
is
One
we
strategic
work
partnership
with
at a time,
Gemini,
until
one of
someday.
our most
Ripple is
prominent
everywhere.
crypto partners in the US, and we explore with them to settle their card flows in RLUSD. So we look at bringing this to life still in the first half of this year, and we are very excited about that.
Absolutely, and that's also extremely exciting given some of the features of the XRP ledger, right, that were designed from inception to support a lot of these cross-border transactions of digital assets and different types of stablecoins as well. So that is really exciting. I think also Mastercard has such a unique reach, right, in terms of countries and partners and merchants. And you've also recently launched the Mastercard Partners Network, right? You want to maybe share a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. As mentioned, partnerships are essential to us because there's rarely things that we do ourselves end to end, right? We work with issuers, we work with acquirers, we work with so many tech platforms and different companies in between. And for us, the Global Crypto Partnership Program is a way to basically cast a very wide net to partner with the best companies in the industry to get together, advance safe, simple, secure payments in a very, sustainable manner.
Absolutely. We see this 100% as a strategic partnership between the XRP Ledger and Mastercard, and are truly looking forward to further develop and design more use cases, more applications, and more solutions to really serve the wider ecosystem. So thank you, Christian, for being with us, and looking forward to our panel soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Aditya. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
The global expansion continues at a relentless pace. Ripple has now partnered with Bank Alphala to utilize Ripple payments for cross-border transactions between Pakistan and UAE corridors. Now here's the part that should make every XRP holder sit up straight. Bank Alphala is a member of Swift's new 50-member consortium for its new payment scheme. Did you catch that? Swift and Ripple are now sharing institutional partners. The same banks working with Swift's new infrastructure are simultaneously implementing Ripple payments. These overlapping ties aren't coincidental, they're strategic. The narrative that Ripple and Swift are competitors is dead. What we're witnessing is a convergence of traditional and blockchain-based payment infrastructure. And XRP is positioned right at the intersection. Pakistan to UAE might seem like just one corridor, but this is how global financial infrastructure gets built. One strategic partnership at a time, until suddenly. Ripple is everywhere. The Asian markets aren't sleeping on this either. South Korea has just announced plans to launch a full-scale deposit token pilot in Q4 2026. This is one of the most technologically advanced nations on Earth, home to some of the most active crypto trading communities in the world, and they're going all in on tokenization. Deposit tokens represent the next evolution of how money moves through the banking system. And guess which blockchain infrastructure is perfectly positioned for institutional tokenization? We already covered how XRP is utilized for institutional tokenization, while other networks like Solana reflect primarily retail participation. This isn't shade, it's just data. When nations like South Korea build tokenization infrastructure, they need enterprise-grade solutions. They need regulatory clarity. They need battle-tested technology. The XRP ledger checks every single box. Let's address the elephant in the room that crypto Twitter doesn't want to talk about. XRP is utilized for institutional tokenization, while Solana's metrics reflect retail participation. This isn't FUD against Solana. This is simply recognizing the different roles these networks play in the broader ecosystem. When you look at what's happening with DTCC, with Mastercard, with Ripple Prime, with tokenized treasuries, the pattern is crystal clear. Institutions aren't building on meme coin infrastructure. They're building on networks designed from the ground up for enterprise use cases. Speed matters, cost matters, but you know what matters more? To a $12 trillion asset manager, compliance, regulatory clarity, and institutional relationships that have been built over a decade. XRP didn't just happen to end up inside these systems. This was the plan from day one. And the market is finally starting to recognize what we've been saying all along. XRP is now leading the top 10 by market cap with a 4% gain in the last 24 hours. But the real story is in the ETF flows. Spot ETF inflows hit $17.6 million on Wednesday alone, bringing cumulative inflows to $1.25 billion. Let me say that again. $1.25 billion has now flowed into XRP spot ETFs. This isn't retail speculation. This is institutional accumulation happening in real time, right before your eyes. While everyone else is chasing the next meme coin, smart money is quietly positioning in XRP. The same institutions we talked about today, the Schwabs, the DTCCs, the Mastercards, they don't make moves without doing their homework, and their homework is telling them the same thing we've known for years. XRP isn't just another cryptocurrency, it's the backbone of the future financial system. The question isn't if XRP will reach its true potential. It's whether you will be positioned when it does. This is generational wealth in the power making. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Stay vigilant, stay patient, and I'll see you in the next one.